Chapter 7, A Trip to the Grand Canyon. Visiting the Grand Canyon is amazing and frustrating. It's amazing because there are so many sights and so many interesting things to do. If you've never ridden a mule, you can do that at the Grand Canyon. But it's frustrating to go there because the Grand Canyon is so huge that seeing only a little bit of it can take 2 or 3 days. People visit the Grand Canyon year after year and never see all of it. Many visitors, especially the first time, go to the South Rim. It is much easier to get to than the isolated North Rim. It also offers a greater choice of things to do and see. Inside the visitor center, there is an information desk staffed by park rangers who can answer questions about the park. The first thing, of course, is to stop and take a good, long look. The Grand Canyon Visitor Center on the South Rim by Mather Point is a popular stopping point. The view from there encompasses almost a third of the Grand Canyon. Before you go, if you and your family are planning to visit the Grand Canyon, spend some time planning your trip in advance. Visit the National Park Service Grand Canyon website at www.nps.gov/GRCA. It gives lots of suggestions about how to get to the Grand Canyon, where to stay, and what sites are of special interest. The website also has photos, slideshows, maps, and multimedia presentations. Mather Point also overlooks one of the widest parts of the canyon. Remember, if you're visiting during the busy summer months, you may encounter big crowds all along the South Rim. There is plenty of parking away from the rim. There are free shuttle buses on the South Rim. The buses take 4 different routes. Using the shuttle buses is a good way to visit the most popular spots. It is especially helpful during the busy summer season when one of the roads is closed to regular traffic. Grand Canyon Village has hosted visitors for over 100 years. When the Santa Fe Railroad first reached the South Rim in 1901, people finally had an easy way to travel to the Grand Canyon. That's when tourism really began. At the top of the Bright Angel Trail, visitors cannot miss seeing a rambling frame house with a sign that says Kolb Studio. The Kolb brothers, Ellsworth and Emery, also deserve some of the credit for turning the Grand Canyon into a popular vacation spot. In 1902, they started photographing tourists starting their mule trips into the canyon. Once each group left, one of the brothers, usually Emery, would take the exposed film and scramble nearly 5 miles down the Bright Angel Trail to where there was fresh water that they needed for processing the film. After developing and printing the pictures in a darkroom they had built there, Emery would walk back up the very steep trail and sell the pictures to the returning tourists. The Kolbs also roamed throughout the canyon, photographing the natural wonders that most tourists could not get to. They sold those pictures in their studio. In the winter of 1911 to 1912, Ellsworth and Emery retraced John Wesley Powell's journey down the Colorado through the canyon. They made movies of their trip. In later years, they toured the United States, showing the film and encouraging everyone to come and see the Grand Canyon. And many did. Today, the Kolb Studio is a gift shop, bookstore, and art gallery. In the 1920s and 30s, the architect Mary Jane Colter designed 6 beautiful buildings for the park. Back then, it was unusual for a woman to be an architect. Mary Jane Colter was a very talented one. She took great pains to design buildings that reflected the Native American history of the Southwest. In fact, she became an expert on Native American customs, art, and jewelry. Colter designed Hermit's Rest, Desert View Watchtower, and the Lookout Studio to give visitors great places from which to view the Grand Canyon. Lookout Studio is in Grand Canyon Village. Hermit's Rest is 7 miles west of the village. Both blend into the canyon landscape so perfectly that it is easy to miss them at first. The rocks in the stone walls are laid horizontally and echo the rim's rock layers. The Desert View Watchtower is 25 miles east of the canyon. It looks like an authentic Native American structure, as does Hopi House, the gift shop designed by Colter that is right in the village. Colter designed two famous hotels at the Grand Canyon, Bright Angel Lodge and Phantom Ranch. Bright Angel Lodge is right in the village. However, Phantom Ranch is at the bottom of the canyon at the base of the Bright Angel Trail. While Phantom Ranch was being built, Colter had to take a 5.5-hour mule ride down to get to the construction site. All the materials for the ranch, except for stones, had to be carried down by mules. Mary Jane Colter. Besides the 6 notable buildings in Grand Canyon National Park, Colter designed hotels, restaurants, and shops throughout the Southwest United States. She was born in 1869 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and studied at the California School of Design in San Francisco. In 1902, she took a summer job with the Fred Harvey Company, which was working with the Santa Fe Railroad building hotels and restaurants. In 1910, she began working for the Harvey Company full-time. Mary Jane Colter designed many other buildings outside the Grand Canyon, but sadly, only a few remain. La Posada Hotel in nearby Winslow, Arizona, is the finest of them. She died in 1958. Mule rides remain a popular way to see the Grand Canyon. Mules have carried supplies and people to the bottom of the canyon and back for over a century. Besides overnight trips to Phantom Ranch, there are shorter mule rides along the Rim Trail. Hiking and camping are both popular pastimes in the Grand Canyon. They offer a great way to take in the natural beauty of the area below the rim. The most popular hiking route is the Bright Angel Trail. It starts in Grand Canyon Village and twists and turns for 9.9 miles until it reaches Bright Angel Creek and the Colorado River. The route is steep and the trail has no guardrails. Hikers must wear good shoes or boots and carry plenty of water because of the extremely high temperatures at the canyon floor. Even longtime hikers do not try to go down to the river and back in one day. It is also possible to take shorter hikes on the Bright Angel Trail with turnarounds at 1.5, 3, and 5-mile points. Other popular hiking routes are the South Kaibab Trail, Hermit Trail, and Grandview Trail. The easiest trail is the Rim Trail. It goes from Grand Canyon Village to Hermit's Rest. It is flat and even paved in some places. Hikers can catch the shuttle bus back to the village if they get tired. There are 2 main campsites on the South Rim, one at Mather Point and the other at Desert View. These sites are operated by the National Park Service and fill up during the busy summer months. Spots at Mather Point can be reserved through the National Park Service. Another popular camping site is at Havasu Falls on the Havasupai Indian Reservation. After hiking 10 miles down into the canyon, campers pitch their tents next to Havasu Creek. The North Rim of the Grand Canyon is much more isolated than the South Rim. It has only one hotel, the Grand Canyon Lodge, and one campground. The North Rim is also at a higher altitude than the South Rim and gets much more rain and snow. The North Rim is only open from May 15th to October 15th. Every year, thousands of adventurous tourists take raft trips through part or all of the Grand Canyon. The Colorado is a much tamer river now than when John Wesley Powell led his group through the canyon. That's because the Glen Canyon Dam regulates the amount of water in the river. Seeing the Grand Canyon from a raft is very different from seeing it from the North or South Rims. The canyon walls really seem towering. They look much taller when you gaze up at them from the canyon bottom rather than looking down at them from the rim. And although there are many whitewater rapids along the route, experienced guides make rafting trips safe and fun.